Hey guys, it's me, Verilyn. It's about 9:42 p.m. on Thursday. I'm in the Bronx. I'm in my parents' home, and I'm recording this actually with my iPhone, this app that I just discovered that comes with the YouTube app, which I never use, called Capture. And I decided, let me not let this day go by without me doing one of these things, because obviously I'm not getting home before midnight. I'm actually going to stay. It takes me about an hour and a half to get from the Bronx to Brooklyn. But Scandal is coming on tonight, so if I leave now, I'm not going to make it home in time for Scandal. So I'm just going to stay here and watch Scandal. Because yes, it's that serious. But I wanted to bring you guys something this kept coming up today, which is professionalism when you're trying to approach somebody for a job or for a networking opportunity or a mentorship. And as you guys know by now, I read Lean In, and she has a chapter where she says, "Are you my mentor?" After "Are you my mother?" That book that we all know from Dr. Seuss. And she basically said that if you have to ask if someone is your mentor, they're not your mentor. And I kind of cringed when I was reading that chapter, because I definitely, not to say that I've ever said, "Can you be my mentor?" but I've definitely reached out to Michelle Martin and been like, "Hey Michelle, so I'm going to be in DC and I was wondering if you could take time out of your busy life and have lunch with me or coffee on me, you know what I mean?" I know she loves Starbucks, so I've used that tactic once or twice, and surprisingly it hasn't worked. And she responds, she's responded and been like, "Hey, I'm actually gonna be away," or whatever the case might be. So it's not like there's no response, but reading that chapter kind of made me feel like, oh, that probably wasn't the right approach. Instead, maybe I should have sent her my NPR story, my last story that I just did, and been like, "Hey Michelle, not sure if you heard this, but here's my latest story, check it out," or something like that. So it's more giving her something of value, right? So I wanted to start by saying the mistakes that I've made in my life. I've also, Jamila, who is an Ebony.com editor. She's also, before she was doing that, she did a lot of blogging, and I definitely watching her career. She's another person I kind of is a mentor in my head. And I've also done that with her. I'm like, "Hey, Jamila, we should get dinner one day." You know what I mean? And so I definitely have made those mistakes in my life, in my career, and everything is a learning process, right? That said, today was Youth Radio's, they had a live chat talking about young people and jobs. And one of the questions was, what are one of the things that are keeping young people from getting access to getting hired, basically? They have a statistic out that tells the unemployment rate for young people, and it's at a record high. And basically the live chat was kind of exploring why that is. And, when they asked that question, name the top 3 things you think are keeping young people from a job, I said, number 1 is that there are a lot of unemployed people that, have college degrees and that have years of experience that also are not getting hired. So they're competing with people that also come with experience. So young people trying to get into the market is a lot harder, right? That's number 1. But then my number 2 reason, which probably should be number 3. So my number 3, I'll say number 3 first. Number 3, I said that high schools in particular, are not preparing, I'm keep looking for the camera. Schools in particular are not preparing high school students for college, right? So a lot of students are graduating from high school and having to take remedial classes when they get to college, and it's like you're constantly playing catch up, right? So a lot of times you're playing catch up with your education. You don't have time to intern and work for free like I did, right? When I was in college, I was working, I was interning, and I was going to school, and I was doing all these things and juggling it, right? But if I'm playing catch up with my education, that's kind of hard to then get an internship and get a job, because having a job in college was not an option either. So, sometimes if a young person is trying to get gear academically, it's hard for them to juggle all these other things that are going to make them successful in their career. But the other thing I kind of, pointed out was that we live in a YouTube nation. We live in a reality TV nation right now, where everyone is a celebrity. Everyone thinks that it takes nothing to be famous. And there is a level of entitlement that comes with that. Young people think that somebody owes them something. Any little thing is a huge deal. And, and I understand that feeling of feeling like, you know, I feel like I was so supported as a teenager. People in my life always gave me props for the things that I was doing. But it was like because I did something. And I think now it's like an expectation that everything needs to be celebrated. And that is kind of making it a system of like complacency or entitlement that is not helping with the whole job prospect. Jamila, who I mentioned as one of my mentors in my head, actually, and so that came up today, and it was funny because I was just reading one of her posts, and she was talking about a young lady that I guess saw a post for an internship post that she put up a year ago. That was the first mistake. You didn't see when the date was, the deadline was, right? And then I guess the young woman, she posted what the young woman wrote, and it was like misspellings. She, instead of putting 2013, she put 2103 or something like that. She didn't write, some letters were some letters that should be capitalized weren't capitalized. She didn't use apostrophes, like little things like that, like the grammar and the way she was writing was as if she was writing a text message to a close friend and not a potential boss. And put a cherry on top of that when Jamila graciously, because she didn't have to do that, told her why what she wrote was not appropriate and why it could be problematic and why she probably should like not do that in the future when she's reaching out for a job. The young woman said something along the lines of, "This is what I get for trying to reach out to a black publication," or something like, well, I didn't have a problem when I applied to this and I had an internship there, and this is what I get for applying for a black publication. Like, that is like super entitlement one. Like, who are you? Like, what is this in a world where you're applying for a job that you're going to be working for free, and you think that someone owes you something? Just like, no, this is like, there's plenty of people that want this same position. And I think that is something that I definitely have seen with young people that I work with, young people, my own, you know, not to talk about family. I love my brother dearly, but I have to constantly remind him that he needs to write in full sentences even when he's writing on Facebook, because your Facebook page represents you, right? It's like your passport to the world. And with him, he's not sure what he wants to do. And you don't want something that you put up now to be, you know, that difference between getting a job or not getting a job. Anyway, that's my venting thing for the day in light of the two things. First, Jamila's post, and then also the Youth Radio live chat that I participated in today, which was awesome. I love live chats where young people are involved. I think too many times we are talking about young people and we're talking at them. And I love programs like Youth Radio and Radio Ricky's that incorporate young people in the conversation. So anytime there's something like that, you're probably going to see me there. Yeah, that's it. I need to go because Scandal is about to come on, and I need to see what happens with Olivia and the president now that she knows that the president. I don't want any spoilers out there for people that maybe are not caught up, but it's gonna be bananas tonight. Ooh, sorry. Yeah, you guys are gonna see every crevices on my face, and that's okay. And this is after a long day. Like today's been one of those days. And it's not over yet, guys. So stay tuned. And so that's the question. What do you think are the problems with young people and the jobs? And I'll post a video now, but then I'll also, when I get home, or maybe even I'll find the statistic and I'll put it in the description for you, because I think that's an important tidbit to have, to see like this is kind of like an epidemic. And why is that? Why are young people not getting these jobs at higher rates? I guess we're all not getting jobs, right? But even this preparing them for the workforce, is that happening? And if not, why? All right, bye guys. See you mañana. All right, if I can figure out how to stop this, I will.